see lots of questions from the participants in Q&A. Piyush asks, we have faith in the goodness of the universe. As people of faith, how can we make peace with what is happening? Is it the wrath of the universe upon us?
I think that is one question that troubles people the most. If we can find meaning in what is happening to us, that provides us with tremendous strength to face the difficulties and hardships along the way. And whenever difficulties and hardships come to us, this question arises, that is there something tremendously wrong with the design of the universe? Why aren't we getting the easy, calm and comfortable life that we are entitled to? Actually, this universe is the university of hard knocks. Its purpose is not to make us comfortable here, but to ensure that in our journey of life, we grow to our maximum potential to reach the ultimate supreme destination, which is to become the best version of ourselves that we can become as divine souls. There is an English saying, a smooth sea never maketh a skillful sailor. So it is the hardships and it is the challenges, it is the difficulties that actually bring out the best in us. When we look back, it is in these times that we develop the heroic qualities within ourselves and we see heroes being created in society as well. Take a look at the Ram Leela. The descension of the Supreme Lord Ram in Ayodhya was for a long period of time. And in a short period of 14 years, the Lord went into the forest. He encountered difficulties and hardships. However, it was in those 14 years that the sweetest portion of the Ram Leela got enacted. If those 14 years were to be taken out from the Ramayana, we would never have come to know of the wonderful qualities of the great devotee Bharat. We would never have imagined what a wonderful and tremendous brother Lakshman was. The immense chastity of Mother Sita would have been hidden from us. The great devotion and dedication of the monkeys and the bears, we would have been unaware of them. So difficulties and hardships are a part of this journey of life. They are not against the grand plan of the universe. They are part of the universe's great design. They are not meant to put us down. They are meant to help us grow. I am reminded of a statement by Swami Mukundananda. Life is the continual unfoldment of a being under circumstances tending to press it downwards. However, we rise to face it, and in this process, we fulfill the true purpose of life, which is our inner growth. So I would like to suggest to be patient, to go within. It's just like when you enter a dark room. At the first instance, you cannot see anything. And slowly you are able to make out the furniture in the room and maybe even the people sitting there. This is called the rhapsodian effect. When you walk into darkness, the pupils dilate and slowly you are able to see better. It's like the little child who ran to her grandmother and said, Dadiji, what are you doing? The grandmother was knitting. She said, Beti, I'm knitting a sweater for you. So the child looking from the other side said, Dadiji, you are knitting a sweater, but all I can see is these woolen strings. How terrible, how awful. I don't think I can wear something like this. The grandmother said, Beti, it seems so chaotic from your side. Come and look at it from my side. When the granddaughter came over and looked from the grandmother's side, she saw a wonderful pattern that was slowly emerging. In the same way, as ordinary mortals, when we look around, we become confused. Oh my God, the life as I knew it and as I had become accustomed to has suddenly been turned upside down. Is there any proper order and design in creation, or is it just random chaos? However, when we look at it from the side of divinity, we can see there is a grand plan behind the apparent chaos as well. And all these difficulties and hardships are not meant to kill our spirit, to stop our progress. They are meant to help us grow, to become even better than what we are. They are meant to help us fulfill the purpose of our life. And the purpose of life was not to keep getting a 10% increase on the Sensex, on your shares, or the Dow Jones, or the Nasdaqs. The purpose of life was to keep growing 1% every day from inside. We need to be strong. We need to shift our priorities. We need to take advantage of the situation to act in a manner that will help us make our lives successful and be pleasing to God as well.
Thank you, Swamiji. I would like to ask one more question from the participant. Manish asks, most parts of the world are presently under lockdown. It is almost as if we are all under self-quarantine. What are some of the most beneficial ways you would suggest we could use our time in isolation?
When we decide that spiritual progress is important, isolation is a tremendous way of progressing in your sadhana. It is recommended that on a daily basis you should block out the whole world and focus on cultivating your inner spirituality, your inner devotion. Now, when many of us are into forced isolation, and that may be the condition in practically all the nations of the world, this is a golden opportunity for us to first of all detox. We have heard of body detoxes. They are a part of naturopathy. The aim of body detoxes is to get rid of all the toxins that came from antibiotics and wrong diets, etc. through a lifetime. And then there is the mental detox. The unnecessary exposure to social media, to news, to video games, etc. that we have been subjecting ourselves to in this digital age. Here is an opportunity to detox the mind. So I would like to suggest that shut off the news. You can get all the news you want in a little span of 5 minutes, and for the rest of the time, do not go on surfing. Do not waste your time on Netflix, etc. Rather, Utilize yourself for pratyahar. Withdraw your senses from the world, withdraw the mind from the world, and absorb your mind in God. For that will be the most beneficial activity that you can engage in all your life. Utilize this opportunity for isolation, which is a very rare opportunity. Talking about myself, I've been running round and round and round doing my duty around the world. And for the first time in 20 years, I've been forced to stand still. So I am taking it as a golden opportunity to shut off the world as much as possible and utilize every moment as a golden gift of God to do some self-study, to go deep within, to move ahead in my own devotion and bhakti. And I would request all of you to do the same. Apart from that, this is a wonderful time to connect with your family members. So while we patiently wait and do our best to get out of this pandemic, let us simultaneously utilize the golden hours of isolation to our best spiritual interest.
Very practical and very powerful. Thank you so much, Swamiji.
The next question I have, Swamiji, is a result of watching your numerous videos on YouTube every day. In many of your videos, you have highly emphasized the positive side of negative circumstances. Each difficulty we face teaches us something and helps us progress towards achieving the goal of life. So considering this, what are the lessons and takeaways from this pandemic for humanity?
Yes, Madan, it is important to do the learning. And difficult times teach us the most powerful lessons. I think the first learning is to realize our limitations. When science discovers a few things, scientists have this tendency to shoot off into the sky, claiming that we know everything that is to be known, that the limits of our knowledge are the limits of what there is to be known. And such situations bring us crashing down to the earth. That look, the tiniest of viruses, you yet do not have a cure for it. So the takeaway from here is to be humble. Remember the great Titanic disaster? The Titanic was a huge ship that was created. It was like a dream ship built as a mini city with swimming pools and tennis courts. And on its first voyage, the royalty of England and Europe was there in it. The engineers who had designed the ship were in this pride that nothing can destroy the ship. And yet that ship hit an iceberg and it submerged, killing over 1,000 people. In this coronavirus pandemic, let us become humble. The second takeaway is to realize the impermanence of material things. People have been trying all their life to build up their fortunes, and suddenly something happens that brings us face to face with the reality that all the treasures of this world can be snatched away in a moment. So the real treasure that nobody can snatch away from us is the treasure within us. Kabira sab jag nirdhana, dhanvanta nahi koy, dhanvanta soi janiye, jahi prem dhan hoy. Saint Kabir said that everybody in this world is poor. Those who are impoverished, they are definitely poor. But the rich are also poor. Only that person is wealthy who is rich in the treasure of love for God. So the takeaway then is to emphasize and prioritize for ourselves the inner treasure that will be permanent and continue with us from lifetime to lifetime. And another important takeaway is to learn to respect the laws of nature. Now, we've had epidemics that have come in the past. There was the swine flu. And when we scientists delved into why the swine flu came, we understood it had got passed from the pigs to human beings. Even more recent was the Ebola virus in Western Africa. And the biggest guess that the scientists had was that it shifted from bats to animals to human beings. We've had SARS in the past. We find that most of these viruses are coming from the animal kingdom. And then there was the mad cow disease. The cause of the mad cow disease. Why did it happen? Farmers were feeding animal products to cows. Now, how absurd that is. A cow is a herbivorous creature. And for our greed, for our selfishness, we are feeding animals to the poor cow. So every time we've broken the laws of nature, there have been repercussions. What is the law of nature? It is time we all think deeply about it. Scientists estimate that one of the reasons for global warming is the immense amount of animal consumption that is happening in the world. Why? Because to produce 1 kilogram of meat for human beings, we need 3,000 gallons of water from the earth. So huge tracts of forests have been cleared to provide grazing grounds for animals who will be subsequently slaughtered for human meat. Now, this human body is not meant for eating meat. Take a look at its physical structure. Carnivorous animals have extremely small intestines. Because meat putrefies rapidly in the body, it needs to be expelled quickly. The human intestines, on the other hand, are 10 times the bodily length. When meat remains in the body for so long, it creates disease. That is why medical science says that meat eaters have a 200% risk of cancer compared to non-meat eaters. If we look at the structure of our teeth, the carnivorous animals have got canines all the way to cut the flesh. We have got molars for grinding. The carnivorous animals have got a linear motion of their jaw. We have got bidirectional motion of our jaw for grinding like the herbivorous animals. In fact, even for drinking, the carnivores, they lap up water and they do temperature control by hanging the tongue out and evaporating the saliva. On the other hand, the herbivores, they suck water while drinking and they sweat from the pores to do temperature control. So our bodily structure is meant not for animal consumption, but for vegetarian consumption. If we could all respect these laws of nature, we would find ourselves far less susceptible to such kind of pandemics that have come from time to time.
Thank you so much once again, Swamiji, and we wish our viewers good health as well. Hope that this was a beneficial session for all of you. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay home. Namaste.